Hey everybody, welcome to the NintendoFever podcast. This is a special edition episode. I'm your host today, Anthony, and with me is Ryan.
Hello.
All right, and so this is a special edition because sadly, or happily, I don't know what you could say, sadly, Matt and Holly are leaving the podcast, and happy for that me and Ryan are joining the podcast, and we'll be taking over. So today what we're going to do is we're going to kind of have a remembrance for the Wii U. We're also going to introduce ourselves so that way you know a little bit more about us, and then we're going to talk about the Switch that's coming up next week. So I'll let Ryan take over and introduce himself a little bit so that way you can better get to know him.
Hi, my name is Ryan. Most people call me Rhino. I've been a Nintendo gamer since the age of 5. I've loved the quality of Nintendo games, everything about them from Mario to Zelda to Metroid to even obscure games like Faxanadu. I just love the worlds they represent. And Nintendo has always been a top-notch quality game company, in my opinion.
All right, yeah, and my name's Anthony. You've probably heard me before on this podcast. I've guested a couple times. Most of the time I'm over at the Game Gravy podcast. I also written a bunch of reviews for GameGravy.com. I've written a couple as well for NintendoFever, so you've probably seen my work somewhere around. I as well am an avid Nintendo gamer. Been playing since 3 years old when the NES came to America, and been playing ever since, really. I honestly never owned another system from another company until PS2, so my whole youth was basically dedicated to Nintendo. But so we're going to kick off today. We're going to talk about the Wii U, and we're going to start talking about the legacy that it leaves. Now, I'll be honest, it's not really much of a legacy, I hate to say, because even the good parts of it, such as the Miiverse, seem to have been cut out of the new system. I think really the legacy, in my opinion, that it's going to leave is that it was the precursor to what the Switch, well, you know, what will make the Switch successful, and that's kind of like off TV play.
I agree. Absolutely.
I mean, is there any other, legacy from it that you could really see?
Not really. I mean, like I said before, I'm a big Nintendo gamer, and honestly, I was disappointed with the Wii U right out of the gate. And for some reason, it was the only Nintendo system that didn't appeal to me. And I mean, I really enjoyed the Wii. And going into the Wii U, I thought with HD and stuff, it was going to make a big difference. But in my opinion, it just didn't live up to what I thought it could have been. But the Switch, on the other hand, you're right. With the Wii U being the precursor to the Switch, I think the idea is now fulfilled for what they were going for.
Yeah, I just don't think the technology was quite there at the time when the Wii U launched. I think they always had in their mind the idea that it was going to be the Switch at some point, but I just don't think the technology was there to. I mean, I guess you could say the technology was there to take it on the go. You can look at the Vita, and that was there, but I just don't think the price point could have got to where they would be comfortable including everything with the bundle at that time.
No, I mean, you could barely leave your living room. It would like lose connection. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got everything smaller and built into the handheld unit now. I know they say it's a console, but it's really either whatever you make of it is really what it is.
Absolutely.
And I know me and you disagree when it comes to the legacy of the Wii compared to the Wii U. So I'm not going to get into too much argument stuff. I don't like the Wii. The Wii to me is one of the worst Nintendo consoles, but that's for a different discussion. Yeah, you can look forward to hearing that one. I'm sure me and you will go back to that and have our nice little grievances about that on the air. So what me and Ryan did was we got together before the podcast and we came up with a top 10 list for our top 10 games for the Wii U. I'm going to go over a couple of ones that didn't quite make the list that me and him both voted upon. I had Bayonetta 2 on there, and Ryan had Hyrule Warriors on there. Both of those did not, or just kidding, Hyrule Warriors did make the list. I was thinking Pikmin 3 from Ryan that didn't make the list. So those were two games that we had on there. I'll talk a little bit about Bayonetta 2. Really, after playing through Bayonetta 1, they re-released that on the Wii U and it came with it. So I played through the first one and then I played the second one right afterwards. It's like crazy. You can see Nintendo's touch all over the second game. I mean, in everything. The first game's very grayscale, with a little bit of color here and there. Then you play the second game, and it's like Nintendo just took their their color palette, and just splashed it all over the game, and it really makes a difference. It just kind of like it resonates better, more visually appealing, and they really tightened up the controls on the second one. I thought they did a really good job with that one. But it just got left off of our top 10 list. And then Ryan, if you want to talk a little bit about Pikmin 3.
Well, what I loved about Pikmin 3 was the fact that with the HD graphics of the Wii U, it looked absolutely amazing. I mean, just to see like this little scale, these little Pikmin running around, and everything looks almost photorealistic. They did such a great job. Plus, I thought the gameplay was excellent. I mean, Pikmin, I'm not a big fan of like strategy games or real time strategy, and Pikmin just has that Nintendo appeal to where I can still have fun while playing it and enjoying a real time strategy game, and don't even feel like I'm playing a strategy game. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I liked some of the level design in Pikmin 3. I thought they did a really good job with that. Some of the boss fights and the boss areas were pretty cool. I mean, they went back to, like, it wasn't really like a day system where you had to finish everything, but it felt more time constricted than 2. That was kind of the reason I didn't really care for it. I thought 2, like, really freed up the time constrict, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't as bad as 1, but I still felt like they're like, oh, you need to have the fruit to continue on in stuff with 3, and I felt like it was still trying to like push you to beat the game instead of letting you kind of just free roam, which I kind of liked a little bit more about the second one.
I can understand that.
Okay, so we're gonna go through our top 10 list, and we'll talk a little bit about each game. We're not gonna go too much in depth. But so number 10 on our list was Hyrule Warriors, and I'll let Ryan talk about that one. He seems to be a little bit more of a fan of that than I was.
It's just it's basically Dynasty Warriors with just the Hyrule theme. But being in the Hyrule theme, it was easier for me to get into the game, knowing I know more about Hyrule than I do, unfortunately, about Chinese history. So it was just a much more familiar take, and seeing the giant scale battles and being able to unleash like these awesome superpowers like they can do and stuff. I felt it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Is that sad that we live in a world where we know more history about a fantasy world than the real world?
Yeah, maybe.
The reason I enjoyed Hyrule Warriors is I kind of like to get the whole like Hyrule thing. I like all the different characters you could play as, and you know what? I actually thought Nintendo did a pretty good job with the DLC on that one.
Yeah,
I thought it was reasonably priced, and it felt like you were getting a good value, a good bang for your buck with it.
maybe they'll do good on the next Zelda DLC.
I hope so. We'll get into that a little later too. So number 9 on the list was the NES Remix series. So we just put both of those games together instead of saying one or the other. I really enjoy that. It kind of felt like a mashup of WarioWare meets NES games, and I thought it was really awesome. I thought the online like leaderboard mode was really cool. I really wish they would have came out with an SNES remix at some point. I'm still kind of holding out for that. Maybe we'll get one on the Switch. I would love to see these games get re-released on the Switch, or maybe if you own them, since the Switch does now. Well, I don't know. We don't know any details with the eShop, but your My Account tracks your purchases now, so I'd love to see that if you already own the license, maybe they give you like a nominal upgrade fee to get them on the Switch, because
awesome.
honestly, like WarioWare and like games like that are really just meant to be on portables. I don't know why, I just love those games on portables.
Well, like imagine a new WarioWare with like the Joy-Cons and stuff. That could, the potential's there.
WarioWare is still the one game I'm waiting for them to announce for mobile as well. Like that game would just crush it on mobile.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So our number 8 game was Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I'm sure I'm gonna have to talk about this one because I don't think you had a Wii U at the time when this came out.
No, unfortunately, I mean the Wii U kind of had our passing at that point.
So Xenoblade Chronicles X is a spiritual successor to Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. And the reason I say spiritual, because it doesn't really have anything to do with it. It about has as much to do with it as a Final Fantasy sequel has to do with the previous one. This one's a lot more open world than it was the previous game in the series. The previous game in the series, very story based, very story driven, very I don't want to say small because it still was a huge world, but this game kind of goes open world. You even get to like basically get a mech at one point, which you can transform in from a vehicle into like a robot and fight with it. So it takes about it's about 30 to 40 hours into the game. So and then you get that, and the game's probably over 100 hours long. It's awesome. There's tons of quests to do. It's a really awesome open world JRPG. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. I know you haven't played it, but hopefully it comes out on the Switch. But if you can get your hands on a Wii U cheap and you can get that game, it's I think it's worth playing.
Well, I will try
It's
the
a
new
really
one
good
for the
game.
Switch, definitely.
See, but that one goes back to how the one on the Wii was,
Oh.
where it's more like it's more. I don't see. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is because it's not. It's not the fact that it's a smaller game, but it's like a smaller scope. I guess is what I'm getting at. It's like that one's more like a tight knit game where you're following around your party, whereas Xenoblade Chronicles X is like the world was literally open. You could go and do anything you wanted. So number 7 is Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. Do you want to talk about that one?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about Captain Toad. Um, Captain Toad, it started as basically a mini game in Super Mario 3D World, and I don't know, I fell in love with it playing it on there. Like, I was actually super stoked when they made an announcement they're actually making a Captain Toad full game. That blew me away because the mini game was so good. And just the way it's one of those few games that I started playing and I couldn't stop playing just because I wanted to solve every little puzzle and detail on each world. I find it to be very, very good.
I thought the level design in that game was superb. The I would say it's a game we didn't put on our list, but I would say that would be my number one level design game for the Wii U, whereas number 2 was Yoshi's Woolly World. That game had some awesome level design as well.
Yeah.
All right, so number 6 is Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. I don't really think we need to talk much about that. The biggest thing is it added some new characters, it added all the amiibo functionality into it. I'm sure everybody listening's played Smash Brothers at some point, one of the iterations. It hasn't changed too much since Melee, so it's the next iteration of the game. It
Yep.
has some new characters like Shulk from Xenoblade, Little Mac, to name a few, and some of the other
Ryu,
functionality that's in
Bayonetta,
it.
Cloud, just a DLC was great for that. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. There's another game where Nintendo did really good DLC with it as well. And another game I'm hoping, crossing my fingers for, we get to see on the Switch.
oh, I'm sure it's coming.
Our number 5 game was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, I had this game really high on my list. That's why it made its way up to number 5. See, I thought this game was superior to the Wii version. Well, not the Wii version, but the Wii prequel to it, I guess you could say, the Donkey Kong Country Returns. The Wii game had terrible controls. You can argue with me all you want, but the sideways Wii remote is one of the most awful controllers in the industry. But I thought playing on the gamepad felt a lot more natural, or even the Pro controller felt a lot more natural than playing it on a sideways Wii remote. And I just thought, like, I don't know, like the level design was pretty top notch in that game, and Retro did a really good job capturing the essence of Donkey Kong.
I'll give you the level design. The level design in that game was fantastic, and the challenge. That's another thing I found to be great. Is it was not a hand-holding game. Like, you really had to figure your way out to get through maneuver through those levels and stuff. I mean, it's a great game. I don't know. I do feel I enjoyed the Wii one maybe a little bit more, but again, opinions.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just, you know, you, whatever is your cup of tea.
Hmm.
But our number 4 was Super Mario Maker. Now, this was a pretty significant title because this is the first Mario game where you could actually create your own level. And the fact that you could share your levels online kind of really made for endless possibilities.
Oh yeah, and the fact they let you use different art styles of the Mario games, I thought was pretty cool too.
Yeah, and the gameplay actually changed up with the different art styles. I mean, even though it was slight little tweaks here and there,
Right.
it still did feel different, which is it's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, they did a great job. and I hope to see
Yeah,
one come to the Switch as well.
yeah. The sad thing about the Wii U is that there are some great games on there, and these games, especially Mario Maker, would have benefited with a bigger user base. The
Oh
fact
yeah.
that the user base was, at the finish was 13 million. And I mean, even if half the people bought Super Mario Maker, that's still a small percentage of the people that were playing it. And the community on that could have been, so much better had Nintendo been able to get more systems out there, get more Mario Makers in the hand of people, just to get them creative.
Absolutely.
Our number 3 game is Splatoon. I think that one's going to sit a little higher than the rest, probably because it's a new IP from Nintendo, which we hadn't seen a really interesting new IP such as, that just came out of left field, and
Oh yeah.
it and it just like it really took the the gaming world by storm, took esports by storm. It was a huge hit in Japan, and it's a fun game. There's a few different, few design flaws that I would say with the multiplayer, where it auto chooses the level for you. It's only 2 levels for what, like 4 hours at a time, and there's some weird quirky designs like that. But other than that, I mean, the game's fun. You can't take that away from it. It
Oh
definitely
no.
is a fun game.
It is a fantastic, fun shooter. Lack of voice chat is what really killed it for me. I mean, when you get into like actual like tournament play and stuff, and you cannot communicate with your team, it's really hard to play at a competitive level. I don't know. I just that with the Switch being voice compatible now and everything, I think it's going to make a big difference in that game.
Yeah, I think some of the online stuff they did was just super quirky. Like, I mean, obviously leaving out voice chat sucks too, but I just, again, like, I think the choosing of the levels was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get that. Like, they should have put, like 6 levels up and let people vote or something like that. It's just, I don't know, really quirky online stuff, decisions they were making.
Well, their first try. So hopefully the second one they
Yeah,
do
I
better.
can't wait for the test fire,
Oh yeah.
um, in March for the Switch. That's gonna be fun. All right, so our number 2 game was Super Mario 3D World. I'll let you go ahead and talk about that one a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's a Mario game. I mean, I love Mario games. I must say it's as great as it was, and it was fantastic. It still felt like it was just the next Super Mario 3D Land. Like, I mean, I know it's 3D World, and it was much bigger on a scale, but coming off the Galaxy series, to me, it didn't hold up to the Galaxy series. But even then, it was still an amazing game, and I still loved every minute of it.
So
It's
someone here has to be pretty excited about Odyssey then.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. Cannot wait for Odyssey.
Yeah, so where Odyssey feels like more of a move into, the next game, almost like how Zelda from Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, basically from the Ocarina engine, the new Zelda feels like the progression forward. That's kind of what Odyssey, I would say, feels like for the Mario series. Whereas 3D World, yes, I agree with you. The cool thing is, though, it really was the first 3D Mario game to have multiplayer co-op.
Oh, that is true. I
And
guess I overlooked that because again, that I feel should have been online. But
yeah, it really should have been online, but that mode was really fun, and it's a lot better to play that game co-op than it is to play New Super Mario Brothers co-op.
I mean the impossible.
New Super Mario Brothers co-op is almost like you're playing Smash Brothers, but playing a side scroller. Like it's more of a it's more it's harder to get by your opponents, or I'm sorry, by your co-op partners than it is the enemies
Now
sometimes.
they're opponents. Let's be real.
And our number 1 Wii U game, and I mean, I don't really think there's much of an argument. I'm sure people
No,
can try to argue with us, but ours was Mario Kart 8. We
hands
both
down.
agreed with it. It's the best Mario Kart in the series, by far, in my opinion. The online was amazing. I guess the only complaint I could say is the battle mode was terrible, which they're fixing in the Switch
Right, and they're
version of it.
fixing it to make it even better.
But I
So
mean, this game had, I mean, out of the box, the tracks were amazing. Then they give us DLC, which was not overpriced at all. I believe it was $12 for the season pass,
yeah,
and we got, I think it was 16 more tracks. which was like half the game.
Well, Animal Crossing tracks. You had a Sight Bike track. You had the Legend of
Zelda.
Zelda track. Like really? Like
Y- yeah, exactly. Stuff that was outside the Mario universe, and I mean, it's just there's so much great stuff with
and
it.
then almost every amiibo gave you a new costume for your Mii.
Yeah, some of them were like just so crazy too. Like the Pac-Man one was so awesome. Like there was
Yeah.
actual a game of Pac-Man going on his helmet. So cool. Yeah, and just the characters in it were great. I mean, you have Link.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
so good.
just
I'm willing to spend $60 on it again.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So I mean that's to me maybe the lasting legacy is Mario Kart 8 of the Wii U. It's just such a good game. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's our top 10 of the Wii U. I know there's games that we left off. Definitely in the comments section of the podcast, let us know that your top 10 list. Let us know what you felt should have been on our list, what we missed. So the last thing I had for the Wii U was where things went wrong. So let's touch where things went wrong for Nintendo on the Switch or on the Wii U. Sorry.
Where things went wrong. Well, let's say marketing first. I mean, when you're
I would say marketing was a huge thing coming out the gate. Same with the name.
yeah, so many people thought it was just an add-on for the Wii. They had no clue it was another console. The message was never clear.
I think if they would have took the marketing approach that they're doing with the Switch now and were showing off like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, like, hey, is your kid watching TV? You can't get a game in? Well, here, we'll play it off screen. Play Call of Duty 2, Black Ops 2 off screen. You can get some games in with your friends. That game had voice chat. That game was great. What a great port of Call of Duty. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was
Oh yeah, it
on
was
the
a
Wii U.
great port on the Wii U. Yeah, I mean, marketing was a huge thing. I mean, it could not have hurt to spend a little more money on that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and to me like that, you had Zombie U out the gate. You had Black Ops 2 out the gate. You had these mature titles. If you had pushed the marketing mature like they're I mean, yes, the Switch is still at heart probably going to be a kiddie machine. It's going to be I
Right, I
really
agree. It's still aimed at like
it's a family machine. Let's put it that way
it
because like
is.
it's
It is.
but the thing is, at least their marketing right now is going for more mature themes. I mean, you have the European commercial where the guy's sitting on the toilet playing it. You have other stuff where I don't think you see a kid in any of the commercials. It's adults going outside playing with it, bringing it to the park playing or the basketball courts playing it, going to e gaming competitions
I
playing it.
mean, I mean, half those scenarios will probably never happen in your lifetime ever, but it's just showing the scenarios that are possible. I think that's great. That it shows you different situations. That hey, this might work in a situation like this, especially the airport thing. You
Yeah.
know,
I
I
mean,
mean,
the biggest thing is situations I know that will happen is say we get together to watch football, watch a movie, watch something like that. We're all going to have our Switches.
oh,
We're all
absolutely.
going to be playing Mario Kart. I mean, I remember a time, what movie was it? And when we were in Sarasota,
Oh, what movie was that?
probably Spider-Man. I think we were waiting to watch like Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3, and we're all sitting there with our DSs playing Mario Kart DS at the time. So this is and like this is actually cool looking compared to
Right.
the DS, the old clamshell thing. So I think you're gonna have a lot of people less embarrassed to pull out a Switch to play a game on it than your DS or your 3DS.
Oh yeah. The other thing with the Wii U, I say, would be game droughts. They had game droughts.
And
Unfortunately.
just I posted something in the Nintendo Fever community today with the game releases that are set for this year, and that is like I mean there is just so many games coming out for the Switch
So
already.
many for a Nintendo system. I mean, I know a lot of them are indie, and whatever you can love or hate indies, but the indies look great. They
Oh,
actually look
there's a lot
really
of them.
good.
I mean, there's Rhyme looks great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play I Am Setsuna. I know it's on PlayStation 4, but I mean, I was been looking at that game ever since. It, you know what? It came out on PS4. I didn't even hear about it until they announced it for the Switch. I'll be honest. And then I looked at it on Switch. I'm like, whoa, how did I miss this game? I love Chrono Trigger. Game looks just like Chrono Trigger.
Hmm.
Crazy. I just don't know how I missed that game, but
I
I
mean, it's gonna
did.
be
But
hard to get that one considering it comes out at launch and Zelda's out at launch. So
you know what? It's so funny because everyone's talking trash about the Switch's launch lineup, and I'm just like, all I need is Zelda because I wouldn't buy anything else anyways.
Yeah, I mean that's all you really need. I mean, I'm buying Bomberman as well, just because that's
I,
to play with the family
I
and
can't get
stuff.
by the $50 price tag on that one. It's just a little too steep for me. I'll get Snipper Clips when it comes out, though. That
Oh
game looks
yeah,
awesome.
that game does look really awesome.
So, the next thing I have on the agenda was that we were going to talk about, going up to the Switch. So, I know we've been praising the Switch a lot. We really haven't said too much negative about the Switch, but it's time to go into a little bit of a negative territory. And this isn't really, we're not really being negative. We're just kind of asking why,
Right.
more than anything. So, the first question is why has Nintendo not mentioned really anything about the eShop? Even the information we know about the eShop came from their website, not from their mouths.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. Like, this is actually strange for me, is because you would the week. It's not even a week. It's like what? How many days? Like 9 days now, something like that.
And exactly in an hour it'll be eight days.
8 days, and they still have not made any announcements about Virtual Console, about anything in the eShop, what they're gonna do. Like, nothing. I mean, anything would be nice.
Yeah, so I don't even know if I bought an eShop card right now if that currency would work on the new one. So I'm not buying an eShop card.
Right. I mean, why would you? That's crazy.
Yeah, so next thing is that they have not made any mention if there's even going to be a virtual console on this system.
That's
Not
true
one.
too. I mean, they keep saying like everybody wants GameCube games on a Virtual Console, but you're right. They haven't even officially announced a Virtual Console.
The closest thing to a virtual console they announced, which again came from their website, was that if you are a subscriber to their premium service, that you will get a free trial NES or Super NES game for a month, and it would maybe have new online features and stuff like that, which also makes me think there wasn't too many SNES or NES games that even had multiplayer to play online.
I
So
was just thinking that, like, what are we gonna play? Mario Kart, the 16-bit version online? I
I'm
mean, no,
good.
it would be cool for like to try it out, but
Maybe
but
Balloon Fight.
yeah, well, balloon, yeah. And I don't know. Like,
You sound so happy about Balloon Fight, Ryan.
I mean, it's enjoyable, but like,
What about
I
Urban
mean,
Champion?
oh my God, no. They need to stop there. If that's a free game for a month, I'm canceling my subscription for that month.
Excite Bike.
Excitebike could be cool. I liked Excitebike on the Wii when it was online. So
Yeah,
that could be cool. But how would they do that game online? It was always a single player game. I don't
I have
know.
no clue.
Yeah.
Again, it's we just have like I don't know. It's crazy to me. So another thing is what happens with all of our previously downloaded titles. If, for
Ugh.
instance, Shovel Knight. This is a perfect example. I bought Shovel Knight on the Wii U. So do I get a discount if I rebuy it again on the Switch? Do I get to just download it for free again on the Switch? I mean, what's happening with all of our previous downloads?
I don't know. I would hope in a perfect world you would be able to keep them or they'd be transferable, but I don't see that happening myself.
I'm just hoping for discounts. Like if I already bought your game and then you're re-releasing it on the Switch, just give me like 50% off.
Yeah,
Because you
that
know
would
what?
be.
I'm probably not gonna buy it again if you don't. So if you do, I might buy it again.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. Why do you think that Nintendo's being so hush about it?
Why do I? I mean, I couldn't give you an actual reason unless they have nothing to show. Unless they absolutely have nothing ready for the virtual console. That's the only other reason it could be
They
so hush
can't
about
have
it.
nothing ready. I mean, they're ready. They know how to emulate their software or in their old hardware. They know how to do it. It's not like they have it running on there. There's
They
no
say
way they
that,
don't
but
have it running on there.
do you remember they couldn't get the Super FX chip running for some reason?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
but
just
yet
saying.
homebrewers could.
Yeah, right. Right. I don't know. Well, hopefully they'll announce something here very shortly.
Yeah, I was really hoping for a direct. Right now it's Wednesday. I was hoping for a direct on Thursday, but I just don't see it coming. I don't know. I hope they have one. If they don't do one this week, I really hope they do one Monday or Tuesday of next week. That kind of outlines everything about their online.
Yeah,
That would, I
that'd be
mean,
nice.
really, that would be the most ideal thing to do. Because let's look at it this way. No matter what they do, it doesn't really matter because their first initial allotment of systems is gone anyways. It's not like
Oh,
someone's going to be
right.
like, "Oh, they didn't talk about their online. I'm not going to buy it." It doesn't matter. They're sold out anyways. I guess it really matters to the next wave of buyers.
I can see that, yeah, because I'm sold on one already.
Exactly. I've had mine pre-ordered since the day it could be pre-ordered. It
Yeah.
didn't matter what they were announcing. I was going to get it no matter what. As soon as they said Zelda's the definitive version of Breath of the Wild is the Switch version, that's it. You had
Yep.
me. You didn't need to tell me anything else. I need to play the definitive version of Breath of the Wild, and that's it.
Yeah, as soon as they said Zelda was coming out at launch, I was sold. And then Mario Odyssey, sorry, just like the icing on the cake. Like, it was like, oh, and this game's coming out later this year. Sweet.
So, what would you say besides Mario and Zelda are your most anticipated titles for the Switch?
Oh man, um, there's a lot actually.
Doesn't have to
I'm
be exclusive either.
no, no, no. I'm looking forward. I really want to play Arms. I really want to try that. I'm also looking forward to Splatoon 2. Um, what else is coming out? Ukulele, I'm kind of on the fence on. I want to see like how big, long the delay is for the game for the Switch version.
Yeah, see, I'm like I want to buy it on Xbox when it comes out, but I'm like if it's like 2 or 3 months, I'll wait for the Switch version. But if it's like next year, I'm gonna be like, okay, no, I'm just gonna get it now.
Right. That's what I'm saying exactly. And I'm really hoping the Dragon Quest games make it over. Like Dragon Quest 10 and 11, like both those games would make me super excited if they actually are going to get translated. I'm sure Dragon Quest 11 is definitely coming to PS4, but I would love to see them bring it out for the Switch. I think that would be a great title for the Switch.
How do you feel about the Fire Emblem Heroes? Or not Heroes, sorry, that's the mobile game. The Fire Emblem Warriors game.
I'm excited for it. They haven't really shown much of it. What they did show, if that's actual in-game stuff, looks really good. So, and I definitely loved Hyrule Warriors, so I could see myself playing a little Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do the Fire Emblem twist to it because I know like the big thing with the main series is that it kind of has a permadeath to it. So I wonder if
Right.
they're going to somehow incorporate that into the Warrior series, which would be pretty
Ugh.
weird, pretty difficult, and pretty weird. I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna get the Dragon Quest Heroes bundle, the 1 and 2. I know they don't quite look as good as the PS4 versions, but the fact that they're bundling both of them into one's pretty awesome.
Oh, it's a
And
great deal.
oh yeah, and of course I get to play it on. I could lay down and play it in bed. I could bring it on the go with me. So and that's a game. Whereas I mean, I haven't played that one, so I don't know if it's a similar. If it's like Hyrule Warriors, though, that's a
It
game where you
is.
could pick up, you could play a level, and you could feel like you're accomplished. So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
have
like
it
you
on
have to play through it.
PS4, and it's definitely awesome. I mean, the first one, of course. The second one, how much is the bundle? Did they say? Is it going to be
60.
just? It's going to be six. All it is
Yeah.
60.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a really good deal.
Yep.
'Cause
So
I think part two is going to be 60 by itself.
wow. So yeah, you're getting the first one for free then. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I would say that the games I'm looking forward to are Snipper Clips. Obviously, I already mentioned that. I agree with you on
Yeah.
Arms and Splatoon. I have to throw Mario Kart in there. I'm ready to get back into Mario
Oh,
Kart
that's a
8.
gimme. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
For indies, I'm really looking forward to playing Rhyme. That game looks really good.
Hmm.
I posted
Right.
a
Yeah.
I posted a game today that looks just absolutely amazing. It kind of looks like a Super Ghost and Ghouls like indie version of it. It's called Battle Princess Madeline.
Yeah, that looks really good.
It looks awesome. Like it just looks like I don't know. It's like a metal version of it. It's just so extreme. It's just so crazy. You should if you guys want, go to our Nintendo Fever community on Facebook, and I posted it in there. You can check out the trailer. It's really awesome. But yeah, I mean that those are really. It's so hard for me to like look at what's coming later in the year. I mean, Xenoblade 2 looks phenomenal, and I know they announced already a Fire Emblem coming into next year. But I mean, like right now I'm so focused on the first like couple months that it's like so hard for me to get past that and start looking at what's coming after that. Just because I'm ready to just get into Zelda and just shut every other game off.
No, I can definitely understand that.
But
Oh, it looks so good.
yeah, so that'll conclude the podcast. Thanks for listening. We will be back next week. We'll be probably talking about more Switch stuff because it's going to be right up there. So we're hoping there's some more news to talk about. If not, we'll kind of outline some of the indie games that are coming out and some of the Nintendo games that are coming out, and we'll also talk about some of Nintendo's mobile games that they've released since we haven't had a chance to really go over that, and that's kind of up and new, like Fire Emblem's Heroes and Super Mario Run. But
Yeah.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Ryan.
All right, I'll talk to you guys next week.
Have a good night.